Here with more former Democratic Congresswoman from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard. Welcome back. You know, I looked at your comments. You're friends with both Manchin and Senator Sinema. You've had conversations, as I understand it, with Senator Sinema. What is she saying?
You know, I've known Kyrsten Sinema for many years, and she is not one to sway to political pressure. She does her research, and she will stick to doing what she believes is right. You can agree with it or disagree with it, but I think that those who know her know that to be true. The most important thing as we look at what's happening now here across the country, Sean, is that we have real leaders leading our country. And to me, real leaders means those who are putting the interests of the American people ahead of any political interest, putting the interests of the country ahead of their own partisan power or ambition. And that's what bothers me so much about what we're seeing with the Democratic Party now, is that instead of doing that, instead of putting the interests of the American people first, we see them pushing their own selfish interests, the interests of the powerful elite. And instead of truly serving the American people, even worse, they are treating us as though we're the enemy. If you disagree with the Democratic Party, you're called a racist. If you disagree, you're called a Russian asset. If you're a concerned parent who wants to be involved in your child's education, you're targeted by the Department of Justice as a domestic terrorist. Unfortunately, you could go on and on with these different examples that really just show how destructive this leadership actually is.
Well, let me assess the Biden presidency. Like, for example, I can't believe we abandoned Americans still in Afghanistan. That shocks my soul and my conscience. I can't believe that Joe Biden, you know, is allowing the disaster at the border to happen. He's facilitating that. I can't believe he removed America from energy independence. I can't believe we have more people dead from COVID in 2021 than 2020. He was handed 3 vaccines and monoclonal antibodies. I can't believe inflation is through the roof. I can't believe the supply chain mess. I can't believe China's aggression, Iran's aggression, North Korea's aggression, Putin's aggression. Is there anything you can point to that you could say, wow, that's really working? Because I can't.
Well, I think you're pointing to so many of the really serious challenges that the American people face. You mentioned Afghanistan. That one hits close to home, of course, and we have to remember there are still Americans who are still stuck in Afghanistan now, even though they may not be in the headlines every day. And this is where the American people deserve that kind of real leadership, where they can trust, hey, those in positions of power in our government are actually going to look out for us. But it's not surprising that as we sit here, the American people wonder, how can I trust my government when my government sees me as the enemy? Without this faith and trust that we have leaders who are actually working to solve our problems, the everyday serious problems, you listed many of them that the American people are facing all across the country, then what are we left with?
Let me ask you a question. I don't remember as distinctly, especially when you were running in the primary, I don't remember you standing out this much from the crowd. Did I just miss it, or have you? That's a fair answer, because
I've called it straight, Sean, and you and I've had a couple of conversations. I've called it straight, whether it was with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. If there are things that I agree with based on substance, not partisan politics, but substance, I will say so and take action based on what I believe is in the best interest of the country. And if I think that there's a direction that's wrong, I'll stand up and speak out against it.
Then it's obviously a passion you have. Do you have a planned future? Do you have any thoughts about running in the future?
There are many ways to serve. My sole focus, whether it's in office or out of office, wherever I go or wherever I end up, my commitment of my life is to serve the American people and defend our Constitution and our freedom.
Well, we share a common purpose, because that's what I believe in: liberty, freedom, capitalism, our Constitution. And this is the greatest country, the greatest wealth-creating system on earth, and we have a lot of problems to fix. Thank you, Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah. Thanks for being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.